Thank you for joining us for a look at some of the best stories from KPBS News this week. I'm Elizabeth Sanchez. Coming up, a deep dive into where homes are being built in San Diego County. KPBS examines the latest data on construction. Paid parking at Balboa Park, new details on how the controversial new policy will roll out. And learn about the youth soccer program in City Heights that serves the local refugee community. We start with an investigation into overcrowding at immigration detention centers. Gustavo Solis tells us about the conditions in Otay Mesa that are making detainees sick and derailing their cases.
The Otay Mesa Detention Center looks like a prison. Tall barbed wire fences, guards, security cameras, all designed to keep people inside. But it's technically not a prison or a jail. Immigration detention is classified as civil detention. People are waiting, either to be deported or for an immigration judge to decide their case.
So they call it civil detention as a way to differentiate it from incarceration, imprisonment. But I worked as a criminal defense attorney for years. It is no different.
Tracy Crowley is a lawyer with the Immigrant Defenders Law Center.
But it very much is a prison. Same security, same rules, same strip searches after you see your attorney.
Immigration detention centers are key to President Donald Trump's mass deportation campaign. And they'll only play a bigger role as the recent budget bill allocates billions for new ones. As Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents struggle to meet arrest quotas of 3,000 people a day, these centers are already filling up. A report from Syracuse University shows that as of April, 84 of the country's 181 detention centers already exceeded their contractual capacity. That includes the Otay Mesa Detention Center, which has more than 100 people beyond its contractual capacity. Valerie Segamini represents 3 clients at Otay Mesa. We spoke to her on a windy day outside the detention center.
Males are the ones that have a significant amount of overcrowding. There's around 10 to 13 people inside one room, and there's only 8 beds in each room.
That room is designed for 8 people. They share one toilet, and there are not enough bunk beds for everyone.
So they get some sort of mat on the floor, but from what I've heard, because of people sleeping on the floor, the males have been getting a lot more sick because they have the air hitting them from below.
Multiple immigration lawyers told KPBS that poor conditions are endangering the health of their clients. Here again is Tracy Crowley.
My client who was recently detained had a rash all over his body the whole time he was there. It made it so he couldn't sleep. He was itching every time we were meeting and discussing his case. He had to itch his body, and he would ask medical for some sort of cream to help so he could sleep at night. And they would bring him this tiny little cup for his entire body.
She says that it's extremely difficult to advocate for her clients. Her phone calls and emails often go ignored.
It's infuriating that they're charged with caring for these people who have committed no crime, and they're not providing the basic necessities.
CoreCivic, the private company that runs the detention center, did not respond to questions from KPBS. ICE issued a statement denying any claims of overcrowding or subprime conditions, calling them categorically false. San Diego County offers free legal representation to people detained at Otay Mesa. Chief Deputy Public Defender Michael Garcia says the overcrowding chaos is derailing due process.
The primary problem is confusion, right? It's so overcrowded that there's confusion up and down the system there, from things like someone will be told that they're going to have their credible fear interview on an asylum case, and then it never happens.
This confusion is causing clients to abandon their cases and self-deport.
That's obviously a big problem. When you don't have a lawyer, when you're anxious, and when you get scared, then you choose to voluntarily depart as opposed to fighting a case that, could have been viable.
And Garcia believes that this is a feature, not a bug of the Trump administration's deportation machine.
A lot of the clients are just choosing to not fight their case anymore, which is probably by design and exactly what the administration wants.
Every lawyer who spoke to KPBS talked about the emotional toll of their work, feeling guilty about leaving the detention center, knowing that their clients are struggling inside. Again, here's Valerie Segamini.
We do take it home. I think a lot of attorneys that work here in the detention center, we take that home. We probably cry a few times, understanding that good people are sitting in here and being mistreated. And I feel like there's nothing we can do about it. I know there is. I know we can eventually do something, but it's hard to feel like you as one person can't do something about it.
Still, she plans to show up at Otay Mesa as long as her clients continue to need her. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
Gustavo Solis was a guest on KPBS Midday Edition this week and talked more about this story. You can stream the show at kpbs.org or wherever you get your podcasts. This week, KPBS took a close look at San Diego's housing supply. Some efforts are showing results, while some neighborhoods are still lagging behind. Here's some of our multi-part series with KPBS reporters Andrew Bowen and Jake Gatta.
We love to be somewhere where we can walk to coffee, walk to dinner, and just have things going on in the neighborhood.
Todd Goodall has been a San Diegan for 2 years. The Ohio native works a remote job. After trying out a few cities in the U.S. and abroad, he and his wife decided San Diego feels most like home. They like the weather, of course, and the pace of living.
Places like LA and New York are much more career-driven and career-focused. People are always talking about what they do for work, and that's kind of where they get their identity from. I feel like here, people are much more defined by their hobbies, what they do outside of work, and we love that as well.
Goodall is one of thousands of locals who lives in a brand new apartment building in North Park. His building, the Nash, has some nice amenities, though the units themselves aren't very big.
We could get more space than we do for our money here, but the other things about the building we love. So the first floor is kind of an office space that I can work in or my wife can work in. The pool is amazing.
The Nash is part of a cluster of development activity that you can see on this map, developed by KPBS. It shows housing permits issued between 2018 and 2024. The highest concentration of new home building is in downtown, Bankers Hill, Hillcrest, and North Park. It also shows the vast majority of new housing is coming in the form of apartment buildings with 5 or more units. And yet, that type of denser development is limited to just a few areas. Most of San Diego is still zoned for single-family homes. In those areas, accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, are the only type of housing getting built in significant numbers. While Goodall's neighborhood of North Park is growing fast, he still sees plenty of room to keep growing. Most of the new apartment buildings are on major streets.
If you drive down El Cajon Boulevard, it feels like everything's a 5-story, newer apartment building. But if you get west of here into University Heights a little bit, it's still mostly single-family homes. And there's not a lot of density spread around. It's very concentrated in certain areas.
Really, I think it's about choices in how we utilize the space that we've got.
Kent Lee chairs the San Diego City Council's Land Use and Housing Committee. He says even the densest neighborhoods aren't exactly full.
Downtown, as built out as it might look like, you drive around and you can still find almost every other block empty plots of land.
Lee often hears constituents oppose new housing, saying they want better infrastructure first, better roads, parks, libraries, and public transit.
And then at the same time, we don't plan for those things because we don't think we have enough people in the area to utilize them. And so people always get into this argument of why don't we have one first before the other? And the true answer is we need to plan for both, and both at the same time.
I meet Lee at 3 Roots, a new development of 1,800 homes in his neighborhood of Mira Mesa. He recalls neighbors talking about this project as a burden on the community. Lee doesn't see housing as a burden, but as an opportunity. It brings in more residents who pay the taxes and water bills that fund city infrastructure and services. Developers also pay fees that have helped upgrade the parks in Mira Mesa.
2005 is when the community was basically told, hey, we're planning for a new pool, skate park, updates to the recreational facilities, and then it sat for 18 years. And the one trigger point that made it possible for that project to move forward was 3 Roots, because the development impact fees from 3 Roots were what was going into the local fund that allowed for that project.
We don't need a ton of space. We don't need a massive yard. The things we value are the walkability of a neighborhood, the liveliness.
2 years into his life in San Diego, Todd Goodall is happy with his housing situation. But as he and his wife consider having kids, the only family-sized housing options they see in North Park are out of their price range.
I mean, in an ideal world, there would be lots of options at that 2 to 3 bedroom kind of size that weren't just single-family homes built in the 70s that need work.
For now, though, those family-sized housing options are in short supply, especially in San Diego's walkable neighborhoods. Most of the new apartments here are studios and 1-bedrooms. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
I'll tell you, it sucks driving in traffic.
Ashley Harbeck is a teacher at University City High School. She commutes up and down the 805 every day.
If I am awesome and I leave at 7 a.m., it will take me 20 minutes. If I leave at 7:30 or 7:45, though, it could take up to 30 to 45 minutes.
She says the evenings are even worse, when it can take an hour to get home.
It affects everything. What events I'm going to plan to do after work, if I can have time to hang out with people or go catch a happy hour or something. I kind of miss out on some of those things because I won't get home until about 5 o'clock.
The 805 in San Diego is probably the region's worst freeway for commuters. Traffic backs up for miles on the northbound side every morning, and in the evening, the southbound side can be a nightmare.
We have a big separation between where the job centers are and where people live.
Colin Perrin is CEO of Circulate San Diego. He says too many San Diegans can't live close to their jobs, and that means sitting in traffic.
It's really painful. You have to spend a lot of time stressed out in your car. That means you have less time at home, less time with your family, and that's just a real drain on people.
It also means lots of pollution.
You have the environmental pollution of living close to the freeway, nitric oxide and particulates. But then, of course, there's all from burning fossil fuels, all the carbon.
That's Chris Roberts from San Diego 350, a climate advocacy group. He says traffic is still one of the biggest sources of pollution in the region.
And by far, the number one source is cars and light-duty trucks.
So why are all these people driving on the 805? Well, Sorrento Valley in UTC is the largest job center in San Diego County, with over 169,000 employees. But there are only about 20,000 homes in the area. So while there are some places to live, there aren't enough for all of those workers.
Historically, you weren't even allowed to build housing.
According to state housing data, only 336 new homes were permitted in this area over 6 years between 2018 and 2024. And over the past 6 years in San Diego, rents rose much slower in the places where lots of homes were permitted. The city is making an effort to address the problem with the new University Community Plan. It was approved last year. It updated the zoning to allow for 30,000 new homes in the area. But not everybody is happy with the changes.
The roadways are the main thing. We don't have the we don't have the capacity for the traffic that it's going to generate.
Bonnie Kutch lives in University City and started UC Neighbors for Responsible Growth.
We know we need housing for the city. We're merely asking for it to be done in a responsible and sensible manner.
She says the new homes won't be affordable either.
Most of it is luxury, mid-market or luxury housing, but they're adding. So that kind of goes against everything that the city says it's trying to accomplish.
So would you describe this house and these homes in this neighborhood as affordable housing?
I would say that they are mid-market, single-family homes.
Right now, the median home price in this area is nearly $1 million, and the average rent for a 2-bedroom is over $3,000.
It's insanely expensive. I do have some colleagues that actually live up there, and it's always just kind of the joke that it would be impossible.
For Harbeck, more housing could mean a chance to live in the community where she teaches.
If UTC ever kind of even got a little area that was just a little bit more like a North Park vibe or that style, I would absolutely move. It is not my first choice to drive over an hour home every day.
Jake Gata, KPBS News.
That series is among the most popular stories this week at kpbs.org. And here are some others. San Diego County estimates 400,000 people could lose food assistance benefits. A new test for colon cancer could spot it before it spreads. And Lego's Comic-Con diorama turns the convention center into a mini masterpiece. San Diego is moving forward with plans to charge for parking in Balboa Park. Andrew Bowen tells us how much it's going to cost.
Paid parking in Balboa Park will start with the installation of parking meters along 6th Avenue, Balboa Drive, and Park Boulevard. The meters will charge the city's standard rate of $2.50 per hour, 7 days a week, with a maximum stay of 4 hours. Councilmember Stephen Whitburn, whose district includes the park, says he hopes the charges will encourage more visitors to take public transit.
If you haven't taken transit in recent years, it has gotten a lot better and safer. We have increased the frequency of service, we've added security, we emphasize cleanliness, and we've kept the fares affordable. Today, San Diego's public transit system has high customer satisfaction scores. Many people who own cars are choosing to take transit instead.
A vote to charge for the lots in Balboa Park is still a few months away. The city is planning on a tiered structure, with the most central lots costing $12 per day and lower demand lots costing $6. City residents would pay the cheaper rate at all of the parking lots. Park employees and volunteers would also have free parking in some of the lots. Park visitors and institutions largely opposed the plan on Monday, though some recognize the need for new revenue.
We are pleased that the money from the parking fees will be spent in the park and the parking management fund, but we need to be clear that the park is deeply under-resourced. The park will continue to need significant investment from the city.
The council has already adopted a budget that assumes paid parking will be approved. If the council can't agree on the specifics of the plan, it will likely have to cut the city's parks and recreation budget even further. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Just months after they were installed, some road improvements are being removed from streets in Vista. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne says the new bike safety measures proved controversial.
David Switzer rides his bike 3 to 4 times a week in Vista. In recent months, he noticed some changes on his usual bike route.
I was a little surprised to see the extent that they took for the protection.
In March, the city of Vista began bike lane improvements, including installing berms and bollards throughout bike corridors in the city.
I have mixed emotions because I do like riding my bike. Anything to protect me from cars zipping along at 50 miles an hour is appreciated.
But soon after the berms and bollards were installed, some residents complained about the new features.
Seemed like it could be dangerous for cars that accidentally pull in there, go out of control maybe, wreck their suspension. There was a huge amount of controversy.
Some drivers complained they couldn't see them. They said the safety measures were actually causing accidents and taking away space to pull over in case of an emergency.
I'm not convinced that these curbs that were in between the plastic bollards actually made us safer.
Vista Mayor John Franklin says he heard from both motorists and cyclists against the safety features.
Cyclists weren't convinced that they made us safer. There's no question some cyclists absolutely love them, but some cyclists hate them. But the vast majority of other residents definitely didn't want them.
He put the item forward to have the newly installed berms and bollards removed, and the majority of the council agreed. Councilmember Corina Contreras voted against the removal.
People are biking, they're walking, they're using public transit, and they just want the city to have a commitment to safety. And it's really unfortunate that we have gone backwards.
She thinks rather than a full removal, there could have been improvements made to the new safety features.
Didn't have to remove all the berms. We could have left it for a year and assessed what is going on. Are we having issues with public safety and emergency access? Are we having more accidents, right? But we can't do that anymore because that decision is in the past. And it's really unfortunate.
The safety measures were part of a $1.5 million infrastructure project. Removing them will cost the city $200,000.
Not only was it a bad decision for safety, but it is a waste of taxpayer money, and I'm really frustrated with that because I have a lot of things in my district that $200,000 or more could have addressed.
So this is a lot of money, there's no doubt about it, but sometimes it's important to do what the people want. And our job as the city council, my job as mayor, is to do what the people want.
Construction crews will be concentrating on removal near Sycamore Avenue and Melrose Drive until the end of this month. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
Well, more international students have been offered admission to UC San Diego this year than ever before. KPBS education reporter Katie Anastas says the university expects recent federal policies to impact students' decisions to study here.
UC San Diego has offered admission to nearly 7,500 international first-year students. That's the highest number in the last 30 years. The increase in international student admissions happened across the University of California system this year. Jim Rollins oversees enrollment at UC San Diego.
Part of our thinking, and this is true for any institution in the U.S. right now, is that over the course of this admissions cycle, when we've seen the various things at the federal and national level, let's say, that have really increased uncertainty and any number of other emotions and thoughts that are going through students' heads, we have every reason to think that the percentage of students who will accept our offer of admission and come here is going to probably be a little lower.
This spring, the federal government revoked visas of 35 international students at UC San Diego. It later restored about half of them. The Trump administration has also announced plans to revoke visas from Chinese students. They're the largest international student population at UC San Diego. Rollins says university staff are available to discuss prospective students' questions and concerns.
We've got a number of offices on the campus that are trying to be available to them. And then by the time the fall comes, we hope they will have felt like they're at least as informed as they can be, even if we can't control everything that's impacting their decision.
University officials also consider their budget when making admissions decisions. International and out-of-state students pay about 3 times as much tuition as California residents, at about $58,000 a year.
But that doesn't even account for the fact that we give a ton more aid to our in-state students, too. So the math is very tricky and very complex, and it's absolutely part of the planning here. It has to be. That's part of the responsibility we have as we kind of balance things out each year.
UC San Diego admitted about 6% fewer incoming freshmen from California this year compared to last year. The university will know the makeup of this year's class later this fall. Katie Anastas, KPBS News.
Recently, KPBS reporter Jacob Ayer produced our digital series, Soccer a la Frontera. It's all about our local soccer culture. And now he has this story from City Heights about a youth soccer program that's supporting San Diego's refugee and immigrant community.
At Colina del Sol Park in San Diego's City Heights neighborhood, the beautiful game is bringing together young refugees and immigrants from all over the world multiple times a week.
The moment we started off here, it was already, soccer was taking off in City Heights and San Diego.
Friends Khalid Hassan and Bekalo Oredi came to the U.S. as children.
Before this program, I didn't play in any soccer leagues, any soccer clubs, anything like that. This program actually taught me how to kick a ball.
Go ahead, hit it.
On the basketball courts, they go over the fundamentals, train, and play a street style of soccer called futsal.
We do practices, and we also have games too. As of right now, on Saturdays, there's a futsal tournament for the girls.
18-year-old cousins July and Venus Wah recently joined the program.
I've been playing soccer before I joined this program. I would come to the park down there, and I would just play. And then one day I saw Miss Anna and her players just training, and then I asked if I could join her. And so ever since then, I've been playing with her.
The no-cost soccer clinics are part of the FC YAP program put on by a volunteer-run organization called Young and Prosperous. It's funded by grants and donations. Anna Diaz is director of sport for the organization.
We have youth all the way from 5th grade to seniors, and we help them with the basic fundamentals of soccer. As soon as they get to a certain level, then we start reaching out to clubs that are willing to sponsor these youth, and we make those connections with them.
Diaz has helped organize free youth soccer at the park for about a decade. She says the kids share their culture with one another and find ways to communicate despite language barriers.
Because of soccer, it was like a universal language where we were all talking.
In this part of the city, Diaz says there's a lack of access to organized soccer teams because of cost. Young and Prosperous provides all the equipment the players need.
If I needed soccer cleats, they help me with that. If I needed shoes, new shoes for school,
They help me with that. They really like help me. They'd be like huge part of my life.
Diaz says FC Yap offers a positive environment off the pitch too.
Soccer is just the hook. It's more of mentoring. We prep them for, for college.
That includes tutoring and making sure the kids are on top of their grades. Playing soccer also helps.
During the fall season, I was really stressed out with college and applying and stuff. So it helps me mentally and physically, because it was just a little moment where I could just get away from schoolwork and stuff. So it's helped me a lot.
I started with the Young Prosperous program by playing soccer, but they were also helping me academically.
The program has played a role for some of the youth to achieve college scholarships. 17-year-old Hassan has a full-ride academic scholarship to UC Riverside. 19-year-old already has continued with soccer thanks to a scholarship at the Masters University.
And here I am playing college soccer. Even though I didn't play high school, I just continually working hard and listening to my coaches.
FC Yap is personal for Diaz. She remembers coming from Mexico as a child and not being able to afford soccer in her Southeast San Diego neighborhood.
I was in soccer as well. I also got sponsored. I also was helped a lot by people, taking me, coming and going. And where I grew up, there wasn't a lot of sports, especially for girls. And if you do want to play, you had to pay. So I think it's kind of like a way of giving back.
Already and Hassan's stories are inspiring others in FC Yap.
Mostly about soccer, what it taught me was the discipline part. Keep showing up. While I kept showing up.
Soccer isn't for everyone, so they say now the organization has basketball and dance programs, giving more kids the same shot.
The amount of opportunity they have, all these programs, it really helps people that are not from here, and it actually makes those people feel at home and welcomed.
Already and Hassan's success stories are bringing Diaz's story full circle. It's also bringing immigrant youth in City Heights together on a team that feels like a home away from home. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this look at KPBS News this week. I'm Elizabeth Sanchez. Thank you for joining us.